My friends, we got a lot to talk about. All right, so here are my thoughts on the current situation out of Ukraine. So, first, let's get some perspective on why this is happening. Okay, I did a little research and I was kind of, I wanted to see if the narrative of Western media fits, that just Putin is crazy and he just wants to conquer. Okay, come to find out, there's a lot going on under the surface. The origin of this, obviously, with the separation of the Soviet Union, and the main thing is that NATO made a promise to Russia that they would not expand anymore and add more countries close to the border of Russia. They lied. They lied completely. And I did just check my teeth, by the way. They lied completely to Russia. NATO lied. They expanded more countries, and they did this 5 times. I don't know the specific countries. I think it was one from Turkey, Poland, Czechoslovakia. I don't know the exact countries. But Putin said, imagine from the U.S. point of view, imagine if China was just to, without saying anything, just put nuclear weapons in Canada or nuclear weapons on a base in Mexico, directly on their back doorstep. We would go to war immediately. No questions asked, period, the end. Russia is saying that not only have you expanded more and more and come closer and closer, these countries are now closer. He said that the final straw is Ukraine. If Ukraine becomes a part of NATO, that's touching Russia with American nuclear weapons on a base in Ukraine. You could see why Putin is angry. At least I can. I gotta have an open mind for this. Obviously, I'm for Ukraine. They're a free sovereign country being invaded. I mean, obviously, who isn't for them? But you have to understand why this is happening. You can't just take the position that Putin is crazy. To understand this conflict, you have to understand why it's happening. It is happening because, simply, the simplest explanation of why this is happening is Putin is looking out for the interest and the defense of Russia. He believes that he is being taken advantage of, he being Russia, he represents the entire country as leader, that they are being taken advantage of on the world stage by the West, by NATO, by the United States. It's really no secret the United States has been rigging the Ukraine's elections since they got Zelensky in, and the pro-Kremlin guy was voted out. That's why the Americans that are there in Ukraine, a lot of them are election supervisors. We love just to keep election supervisors just there. I'm speculating here, but I can almost guarantee you, by the way, Ukraine is one of the most corrupt countries in the world. So I know we all want to have World War III on behalf of Ukraine. What I'm saying is let Russia take it. Let Russia take it. Well, they are. It doesn't matter. They're going to take it. And they're going to take it, in my opinion, within 2 weeks. A month at the most. Holy shit. But it is the inevitable, unfortunately, for the Ukrainian people. They are stuck in between the West and Russia and their conflict, and they are literally in between. And I have personal friends that were born in Ukraine. I know this girl. She was born in the Ukraine. I've been friends with her since I was in high school. And she has family over there. Funny thing, her family is actually pro-Russian. Big shock there. Don't believe everything you hear on the Western media. There's propaganda on both sides. West, the Russian side. So how does this affect markets? This is the history of it. So how this affects markets and why this is important. Putin is going to take Ukraine. Okay. Hopefully they stop there. If look at this weird little curl. It doesn't bother me. If they stop there, markets will calm. Unfortunately, people will live with the fact that there will be a pro-Kremlin government in Ukraine, okay? the VIX will drop, markets will calm, we'll probably go new all-time highs, oil will drop off a fucking cliff, which we need to happen for... Okay, there's a broader issue. Members of Congress are floating around the idea to stop buying oil from Russia. Let me put this in perspective for you. We stop buying oil from Russia, expect $9 a gallon at your local pump. Okay? Think about it. It's just basic economics. Russia's the third largest exporter of oil into the United States. Okay? But, Mexico, Canada, Russia, Saudi Arabia. We buy more oil from Russia than Saudi Arabia, people, okay? If we stop that, okay, the supply will shrink. We're not producing shit under this administration. So the supply will be so low. Demand is still there. There's still massive demand. It would be catastrophic for this country. The inflationary effect of $7 to $9 a gallon at the pump, we would go into a depression. Fuck a recession. We would go into a depression. And you want to do that for Ukraine? How about no? Okay? Let Russia have it. We fucked them over. What don't you understand? They're the ones that literally their back is against the wall. And we, the West, NATO, and the United States have forced Russia to do this. We literally forced them to do this, unfortunately. Gosh, I really am on the side of the Ukrainian people. You have to believe me. So it's unbelievable, the atrocities that are happening right now. And that's what happens with war. They're in a war, okay? And it's going to be a swift war that Russia will win. They have more power. It doesn't matter the heart. The Ukrainian people have the heart. They just don't have the military strength. Also, a NATO no-fly zone over over Ukraine would be World War III. That's period, the end. So NATO is smart on their decision today to not do that. So here's the thing, how it affects markets. Russia wins 2 weeks or a month at the most. That'll calm markets. If they stop invading, the VIX will drop. If they go back home, they have Ukraine. They put a pro-Russian government there. Hopefully they stop. If they invade, okay, if one or two things happen that'll crash the market. One, Congress sends the bill to Sleepy Joe's desk to stop buying Russian oil. We're not producing any oil, okay, right now. We're not. It doesn't happen overnight. We're not producing anything right now. So, or obviously very little, okay? So, what we'll have, in that instance, if we stop buying Russian oil, expected depression, markets will crash. And if Russia, they take over Ukraine, which they will, and they invade another country, as soon as if there's talks or even a smell of another invasion, short everything, because World War III is happening. So, I don't believe World War III is going to happen on our current trajectory. I believe Russia just wants Ukraine, and they will stop there. I hope I'm right, because if we're not, we're all seriously fucked. All right, this video is way longer than I want it to be, but there's a lot to talk about, and I really need to stress the history on why Russia and the reason for why Russia is doing this, okay? And by the way, what I used in describing it, that is from Putin's own mouth. That is how he described how Russia feels. Now, obviously, I'm for Ukraine, but I do understand why Russia invaded, and that is very important. As a market participant, you should understand both sides. Keep an open mind. Stay objective. Don't give in to emotions. I know we want to... Don't give in to emotions if you want to make money, okay? What do I know? I barely make any money on this fucking thing anyway. So here we go. Good video. Let's stay vigilant, stay frosty, obviously, and let's observe what happens. As long as there's no more nuclear fucking disasters happening, and another Chernobyl happening, or more threats of nuclear war, then markets will calm. But, man, we need watch the VIX. The VIX is extremely high, okay? Watch the price of oil. The two drivers of this market right now is the price of oil and the VIX, okay? We need oil to drop. We need the yields to go up on bonds, back to 2% on the 10-year. We need the VIX to drop. Equities, all indexes, SPY, QQQ, they will then rise. That's what I'm looking for. All those different drivers of the market, okay? And what needs to happen is a Russian conquest in 2 weeks to a month. It would be great if the Ukrainian people could defeat them. But it's impossible. It's impossible. Impossible. Pray for them all tonight. Seriously. I mean, there's some serious suffering going on right now in Ukraine. Unprovoked suffering from the Ukrainian people's side. I mean, the West created this. The West created this. We forced Russia to do this, unfortunately. That is the actual Syria. That is the realistic view on that unfortunately this has been caused by Western policies, and it's unfortunate. It really is. It really is. But all right, stay frosty, you motherfuckers.